Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Darren Edward Smallcombe. I am an immigration attorney, and today we will be discussing defensive asylum. As with any of these videos, this is not legal advice. Even though I am an attorney, I am not your attorney. This is purely given for informational purposes only. So, to cut to it, defensive asylum. That is where you are coming to the United States because you have a credible fear of returning to your home country. And this fear may be that you'll be killed, you'll be thrown in jail, that you'll be persecuted for your religious beliefs, your sexual orientation, your political opinion, things of this nature. So if you can't go home for these reasons, then we could look at doing defensive asylum. Now, defensive asylum means that you do not have a visa to enter the United States legally. So for most people, that means that either A, you came to the country illegally and were picked up, or you surrendered yourself at a port of entry or the border. So many of our clients, for example, have flown into Mexico, come to the border, which is close to our California office, and then we cross together, surrendering them at the border. Basically, we go to an officer and say, these people have this person has a credible fear to return home. They'll be killed if they do, for example. And they ask the protection of the United States of America. So that is the recommended way. Other people have perhaps come here illegally or overstayed a visa and get caught. And the reason they overstayed or came here in the first place was because of this fear. So they asked for protection at that point. What will initially happen is you will be taken to jail. That's going to happen. That's going to be a part of it. Now, for women who generally have very young children, they may be let out right away. In many cases, they'll be given an ID bracelet, like a GPS tracking, but they will be let out because of the children. Now, if you don't have very small children, or in most cases, if you're a male, then you'll likely be in jail until the process culminates. And they do say that you will not be eligible to bond or to get out for 6 months, but that's not always necessarily true. In many cases, we could get you out far sooner than that. Just depends on your circumstances. If you have a sponsor in the United States, for example, a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident that is willing to vouch for you, tell the government that they're going to make sure you make your court hearings, place a bond, which means that they give money to ensure that you're going to be at your hearings. If those things are in place and we're able to convince a deportation officer that you do have a credible fear, that you're not just making up a story to stay here, then many times they will do a humanitarian bond and let you get out earlier than the 6 months. That process right now has been called into question in the courts, and it may be a little bit more difficult moving forward. It's a very recent development, actually, and but nonetheless, I do believe personally that they're going to continue to honor the bond system for you. So after you're in jail, you have the first interview with an officer, and if you're okay, then what happens is it's sent to court, and the court, a full petition needs to be filed with the court, and your case needs to be argued to prove to the court that in fact you have a credible fear of returning to your country. If successful at the court level, then at that point you will be granted asylum and you are allowed to stay, and after 1 year you're allowed to apply for the green card. And it's a very good process for many people. We've done many of these cases, and we have been very successful at helping clients. We only do take clients that have a legitimate cause to claim credible fear. If you're making up a story to go through the process, we're not the law office for you. But if you do have a legitimate concern that if you go home, you will be killed or thrown in jail or beaten or something terrible would happen to you or your family, then we could help. And with regards to family, If one person has the credible fear, then their spouse and minor children are allowed to be a part of the same petition. So, every situation is unique. It is not an easy process. And in fact, it's the last resort for most people that have to do this. It's certainly easier if you have a visa and you're already in the United States, but if you're not, this is the only option available to you. So, best thing to do would be to call us and discuss your situation so we can see if we can help you. We're happy to give you a consultation over the phone. Our number is 888-902-9285. If you're calling internationally, you would do +1 619 956 9903. So I appreciate that you're watching this video. Again, don't take it as legal advice. It is for informational purposes only. My name is Darren Edward Smallcombe, and best of luck to everybody.